Hi, this is Roland from PMI JCM Realty Group, where we manage properties from an asset management perspective. Today, what we want to talk about is scalability, right? How do you scale, right? I mean, scaling is one of those things that's not easy to define or do depending on what industry you're in, right? But with, rental property management, the easiest way for you to scale is to buy a multifamily building, right? Because instead of having hundreds of properties all over the place you got to travel to, you streamline it by having one building with 100 units, and then there you go, right? You just go to one place, everything, one roof, right? And you have all your problems in one place, right? There's no better way to streamline your problems than to have them in one place, and you can just deal with them there instead of having to go all across town to deal with your problems all over the place. But the question is, how do you do that, right? What are the steps you should take? And what I want to do today is I want to tell you what you need to know about multifamily units before you buy. I think there's some critical tips and tricks and just um, some caveats of advice that I can provide to you that would help you in your multifamily journey if you decide that you want to go that route as a first-time investor, or even as a seasoned investor that just wants to start on a multifamily um, process. So we're going to go ahead and start with that now. Let me go back one. And so first thing I want to say is, investing in multifamily units can be, very smart. Like I said, you'll have all your problems in one place as opposed to having them all over, right? And it definitely will help you with, maintenance, tenants, if you have to source vendors or if you have to hire staff, having them in one place will definitely help. And it will help in the factor as well if you want to build equity, right? You have a lot more units, a lot more rent coming in. And it can also save you on, your rent, right? So, I mean, a place for you to live. If you lived in one of those units, let's say you had 100 units, you can live there for free. I mean, there are plenty of investors who live that way. I mean, Donald Trump lives that way. There are plenty of investors who live in hotels or in apartment buildings that they own, right? And so it's a great way for you to build wealth as well as making sure that there's a roof over your head and your family's head as well. So investing in multifamily can be a smart idea, and it's definitely something that every investor should take a look at. The second thing is, um, you know, managing a multifamily unit is a little different than managing, short-term rentals, right? Depending on how the multifamily unit is structured. I know some units where the water is all on one bill. There's some units where everyone is individually metered. Me personally, I prefer everyone individually metered, paying their own water bill, so I don't have to worry about it. With single family, it's it's less efficient, obviously, of course, and so it may cost a little bit more in terms of overhead. And with the multifamily overhead, maybe more like streamlined is the best way that I can use to explain it, right? And so, with your single family residential, if your tenant moves out, you have a vacancy, you're getting no income coming in. If you have a multifamily unit, you can lose one tenant and still be very profitable with your unit, right? So it doesn't hurt as much, right? So I mean, there's a lot of advantages to it, but there's some disadvantages, right? People with close proximity to each other tend to complain more. There are conflicts, noise complaint, pet problems, and so those are the two different things you have to consider when you're looking at multifamily units. But they shouldn't really keep you from purchasing it, especially if the good deal. If you let the numbers speak for themselves, you'll know whether you should buy the property or not. Now, what should you look for when you are when you're trying to buy a multifamily unit? You need to look at the numbers, right? Make sure you ask for a T12. Get all the financial information about the property. Get an understanding of what the expenses are. Talk to the banks, understand what your PITI is going to be. All of that is very important. Make sure you understand what your capitalization rate, and understand whether the neighborhood is appreciating or depreciating, so you can do the math and get the value of the property before you buy. But the most important thing is to make sure that you ask for that T12, because that's going to give you a great deal of information in terms of the financials for the property as well as the cash flow. And cash flow is king. If a property is not cash flowing, then it's really a liability. So you got to make sure that you're getting property cash flow, and getting a T12 will help you to do that. So what you need to look for is that T12 before you buy. The next tip that I want to give you is understanding, right? Is right now a good time to buy? It's always a good time to buy real estate. It's about buying real estate at the right price. Um, you know, the reality is, in markets like this where it is a seller's market, people overvalue their properties. You got to find properties that are distressed, that need work, or not just need work, but may need some better management to get the vacancies up. If you find distressed properties, and I heard this once and I believe it, there are no distressed properties, just distressed owners, people who don't care anymore, who don't want to put the effort in anymore to get the property in the right condition for it to rent well. Those type of people who are ready to retire, that's the kind of people you want to look at. Maybe you can JV with them, have a joint venture, and you can take over the property, pay them over time. They still get some residual while you fix the property and get it to where it needs to be, and then you can buy them out completely at some point in the future. So right now is always a good time to buy, whether it's now, whether it's 10 years ago, whether it's going to be 10 years in the future. It's just about making sure you buy at the right price, because you make your money when you buy, you get paid when you sell, or whatever exit strategy you have. Um, and the last thing I want to tell you is, having a rental property partner can definitely help. I mean, of course, you can sit and try to do all this yourself, and it's not rocket science. I tell people all the time. It's just whether you want to spend your time trying to figure it out to do it yourself. I go to NORPM conferences. I spend thousands of dollars a year on my education, so I'm up to date on all the rules and the regulation. And I'm sure if you're not a professional property manager, you're not spending that kind of money on your education. And that's just to learn, to make sure that I'm doing it right. That's not even the investment part. Now imagine you as an investor having to pay thousands of dollars to learn how to do it right, and then spending thousands of dollars to do it, right? I mean, listen, I'm not saying that it's impossible, but I've always believed two heads are better than one, and leveraging your resources and outsourcing what you can to scale and to get a better return on your investment is definitely better, right? I had a situation where I took over a property where owner was, charging $1,500 for rent, right? They hired me. I raised the rent by 25%, got a tenant in before the previous tenant even moved out. So I got them a 25% increase in their rent, and they ended up paying me maybe 10, 15%, but they're still making 10, 15% than what they were making before. So they're making more money by having me, right? And so as they move forward, as we grow, we're going to continue to add that value, right? So, get the right rental property management partner, one that manages properties from an asset management perspective like me. No other people, no other property management company does that. But the point I'm trying to make is look for a property management company that's looking to increase your value and get you a better return on investment, even if you don't use me. Uh, to find potential property unit listings and to get answers to your questions, you can contact us and let us help. We always seek to explore rental property investment trends in the Tampa and surrounding areas. If this particular topic sparks an interest for you to learn more, sign up for our free webinar. Discover useful strategies on our webinar, How to Streamline Your Rental Property Portfolio for Maximum Growth. It's another popular investment topic that every rental property owner would want to get into. Not only do we talk about that, but we also talk about how to guarantee your rent even if the tenant doesn't pay. And that's really crucial, man. Getting that return on investment even when the tenant is not paying is very critical. And it's something that you really need to pay attention to. You can also find ongoing answers to your various rental property questions by hopping into our Facebook group. We have a group of seasoned investors that meet and they talk on that Facebook group, and you can find answers to all your questions. I'll be on there as well answering questions. And so I mean, it's a great way to get a free resource to answering your questions, right? And to help you meet your ROI goals. And if you have more questions that are tailored specific to you, contact me directly. You can reach me either by putting a meeting on my calendar with the link in this article, or you can contact me directly at 813-333-9617. Again, 813-333-9617. You can also put a meeting you can also email me at rcharles@pmijcmrealty.com. And last but not least, you can also go to my website to get more information. If you have any questions, those are the ways to reach out to me. Thank you and have a great day.